5 morning routines that can help prevent strokes in those over the age of 65 can be started in fewer than 3 minutes. Do you know that a simple routine that lasts for 3 minutes in the morning can help avoid strokes after the age of 65? There are a lot of people over the age of 65 who are unaware of the fact that the actions they take during those groggy minutes in the morning can quietly affect how their day goes or how their life transitions. In addition, for some people, that instant can be the deciding factor in whether or not they have a healthy brain or a sudden emergency. Through the course of this video, we are going to go over 5 straightforward morning routines. The majority of them take less than 3 minutes, and they have the potential to effectively lower your risk of having a stroke as you become older. These measures are supported by scientific evidence and are based on what medical professionals, cardiologists, and researchers who study aging have discovered to be essential for maintaining healthy blood flow, blood pressure, and vascular health. There is no requirement for you to completely change your way of life. Running marathons, purchasing pricey supplements, or devoting a significant amount of time to yoga are not necessary. Sometimes all that is required to prevent you from checking your phone is a single glass of water, a single breath, or a single moment of mental calm. Stay with me until the very end because these 5 procedures are not merely routines, rather, they are safeguards. There is a possibility that one of them will surprise you with the extent of its strength. It's time to get started. Before doing anything else, you should drink a glass of water first. You should begin your day by drinking a full glass of water at room temperature before you do anything else, such as sip coffee, scan through the headlines, or even go for your slippers. It should be just neutral enough to be comfortable, since your body enjoys it after a long night of sleep. How come? Mostly due to the fact that your body will become dehydrated while you are sleeping each night. Despite the fact that you are not drinking and are not moving, your heart is still beating, your lungs are still breathing, and your skin is still shedding moisture. By the time you come to, your blood has become more viscous, your blood vessels have become slightly constricted, and your brain has been dehydrated for several hours without receiving any new water. Because of this, the early morning hours are one of the times of day when older persons are at the greatest risk for having a stroke. This is especially true for those who have a history of clotting, high blood pressure, or cardiac issues. When consumed during the first 10 minutes of waking up, a simple glass of water has the ability to slightly thin the blood vessels. The work that your heart has to undertake is made easier by it. Your vascular system is informed that we have returned. Begin with a smooth start. Harold, who was 78 years old at the time, suffered a mild stroke at the break of dawn, just a few minutes after getting out of bed. After some time had passed, his physicians informed him that his blood pressure had suddenly increased as a result of his standing up and moving around without drinking or stretching. Instead of drinking water first thing in the morning, he went straight for the coffee pot with his hands. At the same time, it was a habit, but it came at a price. Since that day, Harold has made it a habit to begin each day with 2 things: gratitude and water. He believes that both of these things are essential for survival. Changing this is the simplest thing you can do if you feel like your mornings are rushed. The night before, fill a glass with water and place it next to your bed. You should drink it slowly and gradually when you wake up, not all at once, but in a manner that makes it feel as though you are waking up your body from the inside out. It is possible that you will not experience a significant change at that moment, however. Over the course of time, this one simple action will set the stage for healthier blood pressure, gentler circulation, and a reduced likelihood of vascular events occurring in the early morning hours. You won't have to pay for it, and it could very well be the most peaceful and considerate thing you do for your brain all day. Stretching your neck and shoulders before standing is the second important step. There is a routine that silently prepares your brain, your blood vessels, and your equilibrium before you even sit up in bed. For example, before your feet contact the floor, you should engage in this routine. This is a brief series of stretches for the shoulders and neck. It is not necessary for you to be a gymnast. Even getting out of bed is not required of you at all. Simply moving your upper body in a mindful and compassionate manner, precisely where you are with your body. Here is why it is significant. When you suddenly jolt upward, especially if you are still a little drowsy, you run the danger of experiencing something called orthostatic hypotension. Overnight, your body sleeps in a state of immobility. Blood pools somewhat, and muscles constrict. This occurs when your blood pressure decreases too quickly when you shift positions. And it can result in symptoms such as fainting, dizziness, or even more serious complications. However, there is an additional layer. Essential arteries that carry blood to the brain are located in the neck region of the body. It is possible for the blood flow to become restricted, particularly in the morning, when the muscles surrounding those arteries are contracted, when your shoulders are stooped, and when your posture is closed off. A few slow, deliberate rolls of the neck, a stretch of each shoulder, and a lift of the arms over the head are all examples of this type of exercise. In a gentle manner, these motions stimulate your circulation. They relieve tension that has built up around the arteries. Not only do they send a signal to your neurological system to manage pressure, but they also assist your brain in receiving the oxygen and nutrients it requires to make the shift from sleep to full comprehension. I remember a woman named Carol who was 74 years old and had experienced recurrent episodes of head rushes when she stood up in the morning. Although her physician ruled out severe problems, he did recommend that she try standing for 5 minutes after she had been in bed for 5 minutes. In a span of 1 week, her symptoms began to improve. After a month had passed, they had vanished. For those who are unsure about how to get started, here is something straightforward. Take a deep breath while you are lying down. First tilt your head to the left, and then to the right. Perform a single roll on each shoulder in turn. They should be lightly shrugged up and down. The next step is to slowly sit up. Place your hands on your knees, and circle your head once or twice more. If you are comfortable doing so, you can proceed. I am going to exercise here. Your muscles, your circulation, and your coordination are all going to have a rude awakening from this. Mostly due to the fact that doing something wrong is not usually the cause of a stroke. On occasion, it is the things that you did not do at all. The difference that can be made by allowing your body to adjust, stretch, open, and flow for a brief period of time can be significant. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. Taking 3 minutes to focus on deep, deliberate breathing is the third strategy. You should give yourself 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, to focus on your breathing before the noise of the day begins. Before your phone lights up, or before the coffee begins to brew. Breathing that is not hurried or distracted, but rather deep, grounded, and focused breaths that communicate to your nervous system that we are no longer in danger. We are not movable after the age of 65. Why is this important? Why? Because the risk of having a stroke is not limited to the heart or the blood arteries. Additionally, it is related to the nervous system. To be more specific, the amount of time that your body spends in a stress response without you being aware of it. The stress regulation systems in our bodies become increasingly weak as we become older. The same concerns that you might have been able to let go of when you were 40 can cause your blood pressure to rise when you are 70. The emotional cues that you experience become more sensitive to your heart. Be it fear, anger, or even just racing around. Your cardiovascular system reacts more strongly to these emotions. To this point, it is important to take some deep breaths. Something significant takes place when you take a slow breath in through your nose, into your stomach, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. When you are at rest, your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for digestion and calmness, begins to function. Your heart rate slowly decreases. Stabilization of your blood pressure occurs. Levels of cortisol decrease. The inflammation level decreases. Additionally, the blood vessels in your body become less rigid, more elastic, and more cooperative. Box breathing is a technique that has proven to be particularly effective. A 4-second inhalation is followed by a 4-second hold, followed by a 4-second exhalation, and then another 4-second hold. It takes around a minute to complete just 4 rounds. You will have established a more tranquil and secure atmosphere for your complete circulatory system if you repeat it 3 times. It's not just advised to make you feel better. The term is physiological. A scientific approach to preventing strokes is being taken. A man named Earl, who was 81 years old, was someone I knew who would begin each day by browsing through the headlines on his phone. It wasn't until his doctor suggested that he get a blood pressure monitor that he realized how much it increased his stress levels. When he switched to doing 3 minutes of breathwork first thing in the morning, the contrast between his readings before and after the change was astounding. As he smiled at me, he informed me that it was the least expensive medication I had ever used. Indeed, he is correct. Get started with the basics if you are new to breathwork. Take a seat and place one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach. Make an effort to raise the lower hand while maintaining the position of the upper hand. This is known as diaphragmatic breathing, and it improves both the tone of the blood vessels and the health of the brain. Retraining your neurological system to assist, rather than undermine, your heart and brain can be accomplished in as little as 3 minutes each day or less. That is not merely a set of morning activities. That's protection for the long term, carried out one breath at a time. Protecting your brain against the effects of stress first thing in the morning is the 4th step outlined here. When it comes to the vulnerability of your brain, it is easy to underestimate. The first 30 minutes after you wake up, you are not fully alert. Your neurological system is still transitioning. Your cortisol levels are naturally higher, and your blood pressure is beginning to increase with the act of merely getting up. All of these things are happening simultaneously. Because of this, the things that you expose yourself to in those first few minutes are not as important as the majority of people think they are. It is not uncommon for people to grab for their phones as the first thing they do, particularly if they are above the age of 65. The majority of the messages that you receive, such as emails, notifications, missed calls, and headlines, convey a sense of urgency, tension, or displeasure. In a matter of seconds, your brain is jolted from a state of rest into a state of alertness. Your heart rate increases, your vascular system becomes more constrictive, and your body begins to get ready for the fight or flight response before you have even risen from your bed. This kind of jolt, when it is repeated day after day, is not something that is safe. It is cumulative, and for older persons who are already responsible for controlling hypertension, cholesterol, or anxiety, it can elevate the risk of stroke in a way that is subtle but constant. At one point in time, I had the opportunity to meet Sharon, who was 76 years old and had acquired a habit of experiencing morning fear, due to the fact that she had just finished reading sad news or family texts. She was already tense before she had even cleaned her teeth. After observing a pattern in her morning blood pressure readings, her physician recommended that she refrain from using any electronic devices in the morning. She began with only 10 minutes being allotted. There is no television, no news, with only soft music and some gentle stretching. It was more crucial that her mood altered than the fact that her numbers started to level off. She had the impression that she was making a conscious decision to be calm rather than being dragged into stress. But this does not mean that you should completely abstain from using technology. Simply put, it means deferring the mental clutter until your body is more alert and prepared to deal with it. Create a buffer of 10 to 15 minutes for yourself in the morning. If at all possible, stay hydrated, take deep breaths, and walk about softly during that time. But fight the impulse to immerse yourself in the outside world. They will be grateful to your brain. In addition, your heart will, for the simple reason that preserving your nervous system is not limited to merely avoiding concern. In other words, it is about providing your body with the opportunity to begin the day with clarity rather than turmoil. The vascular strain that is a contributing factor in strokes in older persons can be prevented with the help of this relatively minor adjustment. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. Taking your morning meds in the correct manner and on a consistent basis is the fifth step. If your physician has prescribed you medicine to regulate your blood pressure, cholesterol, or coagulation, taking the medication as directed each morning could be the single most effective move you can take to prevent a stroke. Inconsistency is more widespread than we would want to accept among many older folks. Despite the fact that it could be considered easy, every little thing adds up. Whether it's a missed dose here, a double dose there, or a delay till after breakfast. This irregularity can have serious repercussions, particularly when it comes to medications that are time-sensitive, such as low-dose aspirin or morning antihypertensives. In instance, there is a trend that happens with blood pressure. It has a tendency to spike in the morning, which is a natural part of the process of waking up, but if it is not managed properly, this surge can turn deadly. Because of this, a significant number of strokes take place between the hours of 6 in the morning. Also at noon, it is possible for things to go wrong very quickly if the body is not supported while it is adjusting. Medication can be helpful in regulating that process, however, it is only effective if it is taken on a continuous basis, preferably at the same time every day, and in accordance with the instructions. Please allow me to tell you about Frank, 82, who was given a beta blocker to control his high blood pressure throughout the morning hours. To a greater or lesser extent, he took it on a daily basis, although never at the same time. It can happen before coffee, it can happen after breakfast, and it can happen that it won't happen until noon. He had a transient ischemic attack, TIA, and his cardiologist found that the spikes in his blood pressure were consistent with his erratic dosing. Frank now possesses an uncomplicated alarm. There is a bottle of water and some medications on his bedside. Before he even gets out of bed, he goes ahead and takes them. Moreover, ever since that change, he has not experienced a single fright. If you are required to take medication, you should not simply take it as directed. Make it a regular part of your morning routine. Make sure to combine it with something that you do on a regular basis, such as brushing your teeth or drinking water. Be sure to keep a brief diary or make use of a pill organizer if you have trouble remembering. You should also consult your pharmacist or physician if you are unsure whether or not a particular prescription should be taken in the morning. When the goal is preventive rather than treatment alone, timing is more important than most people realize, especially when the goal is prevention. Although this one behavior might not seem like much, for many people who are in their later years, it is the dividing line between stability and the chance of having a stroke. And maintaining control of it is an effective method of taking care of oneself. I have a healthy regard for my physique. My brain is what I protect. Even at the most silent parts of the day, I consider my health to be of the utmost importance. Lastly, some thoughts. There is something profound about the way in which a day starts. Not just in the actions that you take, but also in the message that you convey to yourself with each seemingly little decision. If you begin your morning with a glass of water, you are sending a message to your body that it is here to support you. When you stretch before standing, you communicate to yourself, I'm easing you into movement in a gentle and respectful manner. Because you are breathing with intention, you are sending a message to your heart that you do not need to rush. You tell your nervous system, peace first, stress later, as you wait to check the news or your phone. This is a message that you make to yourself. Additionally, when you take your prescriptions at the prescribed times, you are demonstrating that you take your health seriously because you are still here in this life. It's not a particularly huge gesture. They're not that loud, and they just last for a few minutes at most. However, as we become older, the significance of those minutes has increased. There are a huge number of strokes that can be prevented, but it is impossible to forecast the majority of them due to the fact that the brain and the body both remember. In addition, it frequently begins with the activities that take place between the sheets and the kitchen sink. Do not, therefore, undervalue the insignificant things. Simply put, they are not routines. They are transmissions. They instruct your body on how to function throughout the day and how to safeguard the existence that you have labored so diligently to construct. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.